Many professional darts players have been accused of gamesmanship or cheating by delaying their opponent, invading their space, or making noise. But one way in which players have been accused of cheating may surprise you, and that is by farting on stage to put off their opponents. You certainly wouldn't think that top PDC players would be accused of that, but even 16-time world champion Phil Taylor has been. Phil entered the 2005 World Championship as an 11-time world champion and was attempting to win his 10th PDC world title to go alongside his 2 Lakeside wins. His campaign began with a tie against number 20 seed Alex Roy, and Phil put in a brutal performance, starting with a 180 and winning 4-0 in just 31 minutes, only dropping a single leg. The power averaged 102.87 compared to Roy, who averaged just 83. Following the game, Alex gave an interview to the Mirror in which he stated that Phil was a great player, but that the fact was he was very flatulent. Roy said it was hard enough trying to concentrate during the game, which was made even harder by a horrific stench filling his nostrils. He said that he felt Phil couldn't help it and that maybe the power should have considered changing his pre-match meal choice. Roy said that over the Christmas period, Taylor had probably been gouging on Brussels sprouts and that he shouldn't have farted on stage as it was very unprofessional. Taylor responded by saying that he who smelt it dealt it and that he was clean and would never resort to such underhand tactics. He added that the only aroma around him was the sweet smell of success. In one of his books, Taylor states that he had never heard such tommy rot and that, while seemingly comical, he took the wild accusations seriously. He said that Roy complained 1 or 2 press guys had egged him on about the story and put words in his mouth, as it seems from the style of the quotes in the Mirror article. So, whilst there was likely some sort of smell on the stage, the article was exaggerated. Phil made more headlines that tournament, winning his 12th world title, his 10th in the PDC, beating Mark Durbridge in the final. It was over a decade before we saw another high-profile darts farting incident, and that came at the 2018 Grand Slam. Dutchman Wesley Harmes, who first qualified for the event back in 2012 when he reached the last 16 and hit the big fish against Raymond van Barneveld, qualified for the tournament for the first time in 4 years as one of the BDO representatives. Harmes was drawn in a group with James Wade, Keegan Brown and Mark Webster, and in his first 2 games he was whitewashed by Wade and beat Webster 5-3. This meant that heading into the final group games, Harmes faced Brown in a straight shootout, with the winner moving through to the knockout stage. In their game, both Brown and Harmes averaged 103 and went to a deciding leg, where Harmes managed to break the throw and secure his qualification for the last 16. Following the win, he accused the media of labelling the BDO players as amateurs too often and said he hoped he could change their mind. In the last 16, he had to face the winner of Group D, number 4 seed Gary Anderson, who won all 3 of his group games, dropping just 4 legs in total. Harmes had faced Anderson in the group stage of the Grand Slam in both 2013 and 14, but lost 5-1 on the first occasion and was whitewashed on the second. Therefore, he was heading into their 2018 clash with a terrible record against the Flying Scotsman. Wesley got off to a bad start again, going 3-0 down, but then managed to win back-to-back legs to head into the first break trailing 3-2. However, following the break, Anderson won 7 legs in a row to secure a 10-2 win in which he hit 63% of his doubles. He averaged 101 compared to Harmes' 88. Following the game, Harmes had an interview with Dutch broadcaster RTL where he stated that he had issues with fragrant things on stage, accusing Anderson of farting. Wesley said he thought it would take him 2 nights to lose the smell from his nose and added he didn't know things like that could happen in the PDC. He had no further comments on the incident in that interview, but the saga continued, with the claim being brought up in the broadcaster's interview with Anderson. In this now famous and legendary interview, Gary denied that the smell came from him, but said that he had smelt it and didn't know where it came from. Gary said that it was coming from the table side and that it smelled like rotten eggs. He felt the smell came from Wesley and he got a waft of it every time he walked past. He said that it was dirty and that as Harmes had started to play better after the smell arrived, he had needed to get some wind out. He said whoever had done it needed to see a doctor and that if it was him, he would have admitted it. He said that Wesley was 1010% wrong and that he swore on his children's lives. Gary also said that he knew of one player who did it a lot, but that he wouldn't name them. Gary used some strong language in that now famous interview and has since said that he now has to watch what he says when live, as he was told off by darts chiefs after that. He accused the Dutch broadcasters of stitching him up. With both players denying it, PDC chairman Barry Hearn weighed in. In a funny, tongue-in-cheek article, Barry said that they had to get to the bottom of it, and said that the DRA had the power to fine or suspend players found guilty of gamesmanship or a lack of professionalism. Hearn offered an alternate theory, stating that it could have been referee Ross Bray, as he was in farting distance. Bray denied that it was him and refused to comment when approached by the BBC. Eventually, the truth did come out, with one of the security guards who was working at the event owning up to the fart to the RTL reporter. Anderson and Harmes played for a fourth time on the Pro Tour in 2020, and Wesley got a great start, going 5-1 up. Anderson then won 4 legs in a row to force a decider, but Harmes held it together and hit double six to get his first win over Anderson. Now, let's take a look at the most recent FARTGATE incident which happened in the Modus Super Series. During Group B of the most recent Champions Week, former PDC tour card holders Darren Webster and Ron Meulenkamp faced off. Webster got the better start and went 3-0 up in the first of 4 leg game. However, the game then swung, with Ron winning the next 3 legs to force a decider. The players fist bumped ahead of the sudden death leg, in which Ron broke throw by taking out 81 for the second leg in a row to win 4-3. After the game, Meulenkamp went for a handshake, but Darren refused and looked angry, leaving Meulenkamp looking confused. The reason for the handshake snub became clear following the game when Webster posted on Facebook stating that Ron had farted on the stage and made it stink. He also accused him of kicking and slowing the game down. Meulenkamp responded to the claim by calling it a clown show from Webster and saying that there was a little smell already on the stage when they went to play. Ron said that Darren had blamed him for everything and lost his respect by acting like a big kid. Wesley Plazier said that he heard from Ron that there was a smell in the room all day. The players played again on the following day, with Meulenkamp winning 4-3 again. The players shook hands after that, but it still did look a bit awkward.